All right, the Fireside Chat is online. Except this week we are not near a fire. It's rather rainy in the Chicagoland area this day, today. So we had to move inside of Burks' garage here with his beautiful homemade outdoor bar.
Yeah.
And we got, of course, the handmade ashtray here as well. And we got some good things going on this week. Our bourbon of choice is a really special one. This is the 2020 edition of the George T Stagg from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection yearly release 2020, like I said. This sucker clocks in at 130.4, I think it was 0.4 proof, 65% and change alcohol, which is just a massive cask strength bourbon. And this is the first year I was able to purchase anything from the antique collection, and this was the one, and I'm really excited to try it. I've never had the Stagg before. I've had the Stagg Junior, which is a more common but still fairly sought after younger version of this guy. And if you're not familiar with the antique collection, there's 5 bottles in it. It comes out once a year. You've got the George T Stagg, you've got the Eagle Rare 17. Little deceptive on that one. This year's was 18 and a half years old, but still labeled in the 17-year bottle. The Sazerac 18, the Thomas H. Handy, and of course what's essentially widely regarded as one of the finest bourbons on the planet, the William LaRue Weller. But these antique collection bottles are all routinely special. They're all routinely fantastic, and I've never tried the Stagg before, so we're gonna go with that. We've got a Java Mint cigar to go with it. Again, courtesy of Mr. Burks here. Thank you for the stick.
No problem. I'm smoking a 708 chocolate mint.
There you go. So we're both on mints, just a different variety.
Yes.
And then we've got some tequilas. Do you want to talk about what we got sitting up here?
So I have the Don Fulano. That is one that I showcased earlier this week. For the price of being around $70, $75, I mean, it's absolute great value. Very strong caramels in there. It's absolutely delicious. Highly recommend that. And then the Villa One was the highlight bottle of the Table Bottle Tuesday this week. That is the one that is partially owned by Nick Jonas and one of his business partners.
This one?
Yes, that's that one. It's not as good as the Don Fulano, however you spell it. I'm sorry. Fulano. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tongue twister right now. But it's not as good, but it is a great bottle if you're looking to just have something you can put out on the table for friends to drink, company to drink. You don't want them to be
all up in
drinking
your
up all
good
the
stash.
shit. Exactly. Put that out. It's a nice bottle for you to share with everyone. But Don Fulano, you can probably put that out, but I would probably keep that to myself and have for select pours of people. It's not like George T Stagg. George T Stagg, that was my bottle. It would just be myself and yourself drinking that.
That's it. Yeah, this is one that it gets put in the back of the cabinet, and it's brought out on special occasions, right alongside any of the Pappy Van Winkle or any of that we sampled last week. But it seemed right. If we did the Pappy last week, the Van Winkles last week, we got to get into the antique collection, and this is my bottle from the antique collection this year that I'm excited about because I've never tried it before. So it's something that I've been really looking forward to. So here we are, and cheers to our viewers. Who do we got? While I take my first sip, who's with us?
Right now we have Sergeant Mo. Welcome, Mo. Thank you for joining us. Once again, we have Agave Tequila Margarita. Thank you. Appreciate it. Mark Hurd, Iron Claw 65 is watching, tuning in. Dwayne is back.
All right, Dwayne.
Yeah, so he's in. I'm pretty sure we have a couple other guys that are going to join us, a couple other regulars that are going to join us. But they were expecting 5:15. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of a late start with the weather change. And
yeah, we had to mix it up a little bit today.
Yeah, so we have a Christmas tree for you guys to look at though. Yeah, huge Christmas tree my wife needed to have.
Burks climbed up that tree and put those lights on him all by himself too.
Don't tell him a lie like that.
Well, this neighborhood that we're in, and by the way, this bourbon, which I just sipped while you were talking, is fantastic. The mouthfeel on it is beautiful. The burn is there for sure. It's 130 something proof bourbon, but it's not by any stretch of the imagination what you would think it would be at that proof level. It is, for 130 proof, just beautifully smooth, and really just can't recommend this enough. It's one of those it's a unicorn. It's impossible to find. If you're lucky to get it, there are people that pay a crap ton of money on the secondary market for this bottle. That's not my vibe, but I got lucky enough to buy one at my local store here, and thank you to them for hooking it up. I don't want to shout their name out in this episode because they'll get inundated with calls. They do not have any left. it's gone. But this is one of those bottles that you spend all year buying bourbon and hope you're lucky enough to have a chance to get at the end of the year. So, cheers to our viewers. And we're going to watch Burks take a sip of this as well right now. See how he likes it. It's just magnificent. There's
absolutely amazing.
There's nothing else that can be said. It's fantastic. So, this bottle, it'll last me because I'm going to drink it slowly, but it is going to be consumed. It's just too good to let it sit there.
Oh, well, you said you have gotten 2 this year, right?
Yeah, I ended up having 2. I got lucky, but this is just one of those that you get as many as you can get.
Oh.
You hang on to them. So we had, last week we had a lot of success. A lot of new viewers came in. We did a really fun conversation about sports. We were talking about the Bears. We were talking about the Bulls and Michael Jordan and LeBron James and all that stuff. We had a good couple days this week in Chicago sports. We had the White Sox picked up a couple of players. Adam Eaton is back, which is pretty crazy.
Nice.
And then they traded for Lance Lynn, which he's had a bit of a renaissance, this guy, right? He had a couple of pretty rough years. The Yankees signed him a couple years back or maybe traded for him, I can't remember, as a back of the rotation kind of stability arm. He did okay.
Mm-hmm.
He got knocked around a little bit in a couple of starts. But this particular season, he actually came all the way back and was, strangely enough, one of the top pitchers in baseball all season. He's a bigger guy. He's got a lot of weight on his frame. It's kind of interesting to me to see what he's going to do with the long haul of the season at his age. If they get a full season in. This one, what do you make, 12, 13 starts? I mean, you get into that 20, 22 start range, the body, especially when you're not in the greatest of shape like some of these older guys, and it starts to break down a little bit.
You know what, Lance Lynn, he started with the Cardinals. I'm a Cardinals fan, huge Cardinals fan, as you guys know. He started with the Cardinals. He did great his first 2 or 3 seasons there. He became a solid pitcher, solid number 3, number 4. But the thing with Lance Lynn was he's always a fast starter.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to, second half of the season, he falls off a cliff.
Yeah. And I get the White Sox going for that. I mean, if he gives them 12 or 15 really solid starts and then breaks down at the end, he's not really a guy that you're relying on in the playoffs, at that point. You're down in the playoffs to, 3 starters, 4 starters?
Yeah.
He won't be that guy.
No.
They've got guys for that.
Oh, yeah.
But if he can get you those extra 6, 8, 10 wins over the course of a season, 12 wins, whatever, that's a solid pickup for them. And I definitely like it. I think he'll, and a lot of these high-end pitchers, they don't have fast starts.
Right.
You look at a lot of the bigger names in baseball, it takes them until that weather starts to warm up in order to really get there. So, I think that's a pretty wise move for them. Pretty wise move because they've got a window now. They're going to be a pretty solid team in that AL Central this year, if not the number 1. Be right up there with the Twins. The Twins are the tough one to beat. I'm a Yankee fan personally, but it's fun to watch Chicago sports and do all that.
Well, we have Sergeant Mo is an LA fan. He's Lakers, Dodgers, Raiders. I mean, well, of course, Raiders are in Las Vegas right now, but they still are an LA team. But to your point, I really think that they can get past Minnesota this year.
Yeah, I think so. Because Minnesota's window, again, these teams all have windows. The guys, they don't last forever. You're not going to have 7, 8, 10 good years in a row anymore.
Right.
And Minnesota's 3 or 4 years into that now at this point. So, we'll see what happens. I think they're poised.
They had Kenta Maeda, who was, Sergeant Mo, you know Kenta Maeda from him being with the Dodgers, and he was good there, and then he completely fell off and went to their bullpen. But also, Dodgers have a completely stacked rotation as it is anyway.
Yeah.
But then he went to Minnesota. He had a damn near Cy Young year, but I don't see that happening again. And with one more year of growth from all these young guys, especially Luis Roberts. That kid just absolutely crushed.
Yeah.
And he didn't even have a full spring training.
Yeah, you're right. And what I like the most as a Yankee fan, I use the comparison a lot. The White Sox this year were supposed to essentially be where the Yankees were like 2 years ago, which is just a year off. And now they've had that year. And I think the White Sox are poised to really compete. Baseball is just so stacked now. The talent level across the league is just obscene, and it's going to be really hard. Whatever team wins, it's going to be really a tough battle to see them go. Could you toss your lighter over here, man? Toss it on this side, because my stick went out, and I want to smoke it.
I'm always losing my lighter. Here it is. Let's see.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we have what a year Abreu would have had with a full year. Absolutely. He still won the AL MVP, but that dude crushed in just an abbreviated season.
Yeah.
So just imagine what he would have done in a full season, with a full spring training.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's really, baseball's my number one sport. I'm a huge football fan. I'm a huge hockey fan. Baseball's always been my number one. It's nearest and dearest. And I, count the days until the magical moment when pitchers and catchers report to spring training. It's always the best, one of the best days of the year. You start seeing those guys get out of their cars and get into the locker room, and it's on.
Yeah. Well, Iron Claw asks, do you think the DH rule is here to stay?
So Major League Baseball has sent a memo to all National League teams saying you need to prepare as though there will be no universal DH this year. A decision has not officially been reached, but baseball is advising teams to build their rosters as though the National League will not have a DH. So the writing is on the wall a bit that it's going to go back to what it was. I had personally a lot of fun with the rule changes this year. I had a lot of fun. I love that extra inning man on second thing. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the double headers ending after 7 were fantastic.
I like that too.
Major League Baseball over the years has not gotten a lot right.
Yeah.
But taking the opportunity this year to experiment with some things because the season was a mess and you didn't know what was going to happen and games were going to get canceled and shuffled around, they really took it to the fullest and had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching those games. Those double headers at 7 innings. That was amazing. That was a lot of fun. And there's some tweaking and some interesting things they can do, but I think it's questionable whether the DH rule is going to be here this year. I would tend to lean towards no based on what I've heard.
I personally, I try to. I'm more of a baseball purist, so personally, I want to see it. I want to see pitchers hit, and I want to see that that 1-0 game. I know it's boring. I know that it sucks to watch as a casual fan or just a fan in general, but me playing the sport and being in that position, I love to see two guys, two aces, just go out there.
Battle it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need 17 strikeouts each.
Let's go.
And the strategy comes into play. But I can definitely see how much